I got rejected from my dream job, then found out the real reason 3 months later, because the hiring manager's nephew needed the position more than I did. I'd made it through 4 rounds of interviews over 6 exhausting weeks, each one going better than the last, the recruiter practically hinting at an offer during our final call. Then silence. A generic rejection email arrived a week later. We've decided to move forward with another candidate whose experience more closely aligns with our current needs. I was devastated, but I moved on, eventually landing a solid position elsewhere within 2 months, grateful, if a little bruised. 3 months after that rejection, I ran into a former colleague from that same company at an industry conference, someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Over coffee, mostly making small talk, she mentioned, almost in passing, that the role I'd interviewed for had already gone through 2 people since I'd been rejected, both quitting within weeks of starting. Curious, and a little bitter if I'm honest, I asked who they hired instead of me the first time around. She hesitated, then told me carefully. The hiring manager's nephew, fresh out of a completely unrelated degree program, with 0 relevant experience for the role, had been given the position weeks before my own interview process had even fully wrapped up. The other 3 rounds I'd gone through, apparently, had been essentially theater, a formality the company felt obligated to complete for compliance reasons after already deciding internally who would get the job. I was angry, understandably, feeling like I'd wasted 6 weeks of genuine effort on interviews that were never real to begin with. I let it go for a while. Then, out of curiosity more than anything else, I checked the company's public reviews online a few months later. Here's the twist that turned my quiet resentment into something closer to relief. The nephew, predictably, had been let go after less than 4 months, unable to handle a role he was never remotely qualified for in the first place. The hiring manager who'd pushed the nepotism higher through was quietly demoted following an internal review after 2 other unrelated favoritism complaints surfaced around the same time. And the entire department I'd almost joined had gone through a public, messy restructuring covered in a regional business publication, citing leadership and culture issues as the primary reason. The job I'd been devastated to lose turned out to be walking into a slow-motion collapse I would have had absolutely no way of knowing about during my interviews. My actual job, the one I'd taken instead out of necessity, had meanwhile promoted me twice in the time since, into a role with significantly more responsibility and nearly double the salary I would have started at with that original company. I reached out to my old recruiter contact there, mostly out of curiosity, and confirmed quietly that yes, the hiring manager situation had been exactly as messy as I'd heard, and that several other rejected candidates from my original interview round had privately complained about the same thing. I don't feel angry about it anymore, honestly. I feel something closer to grateful. Getting rejected from that job felt, at the time, like the worst professional disappointment of my career. It turned out to be the single luckiest break I never asked for. Sometimes the door that slams shut in your face isn't punishment at all. It's protection, arriving disguised as heartbreak, for a version of your future you couldn't see coming yet.